Do you need help?
Welcome to the Alila Ventana Big Sur. This is one of my favorite properties out there and what I consider the Maldives of the forest. In this video, we'll look at pretty much everything you can do, a lot of the different spaces, and also do a room tour. Before we dive into everything, big favors to give us a thumbs up, and if you are new, to consider subscribing. Let's start with the room. Welcome to the Big Sur Spa Suite. This is an Alila property and it's part of the Hyatt group and a pretty awesome one. Right off the bat, we did get a pretty sizable upgrade due to having Hyatt Globalist status. Beds were super comfortable. Finding lights were a bit harder than I think we were used to based off some other properties we've been to, but pretty solid. Seat over here, there's a fireplace as well as a TV. This is a real wood fireplace, so not just a cosmetic one. You light this bag on fire and it's good to go. So let's do an example right now. You're only supposed to put one at a time, otherwise you can't actually take up all the smoke. One of the cute things about the room is that there are record players, whether you like Sinatra or maybe something else. And you can pick different records in the main lobby. If you want to enjoy some music the old way, this is a pretty good opportunity. If we mosey on over here, there is a pretty small table. Room service menu is here, pretty solid, and I like that it's all inclusive, so all the fees, all the food other than alcohol is part of the room rate. On the note of the room rate, if you are looking to book this, I'd recommend using Hyatt points. This is a category 8 and you're looking at 35,000, 40,000, or 45,000 points per night. It's a ton of points, but if you compare it to the cash rate tends to be in the 2,000 to 2,500 range before taxes and fees. I'll put a blog post down below walking through the math, but if you want to learn about these cards or pretty much any other cards out there and you want to support the channel, we do have links on the website, AskSebby.com, and also down below in the description box. Make sure they're competitive, but otherwise it is a huge way to support the channel, so thank you guys in advance. Also, if you do want an unadulterated version of our experience, then I'll put that on Sebby phone.
Nothing's happening.
There's bugs in your food.
No, there's not.
Wait, that's my food?
That's your food.
Oh no. You're saying I can't do this and this.
You can't bounce around like that. You can't just go like around someone. So Sebby after being attacked by the hammock.
I wasn't attacked. I won. So this is kind of the fast cut and it's running through all the amenities and stuff. This is technically our third day. Bathroom area is pretty sizable. You have toilet seat over here. Nothing too fancy, just a pretty normal one. Make sure to close your blinds because otherwise people outside can see you and you can see them, unless they're into that. Two sinks, nothing to really complain about, pretty solid. I do like that they provide you with all this stuff. Some other places, for whatever reason, tend to not provide toothpaste. We end up having to call to ask for it. They already provide it here, so that's pretty awesome. Not something I used, but Mandy loved the fact that there was a dry bar hairdryer. Bathtub is pretty sizable, but we didn't really use it for its intended purpose. That sounds inappropriate right now, but we were doing Nordic cycles. A Nordic cycle is when you go into the hot tub, sweat for a bit, and then come and do an ice plunge or cold plunge. It's a pretty sizable and it gets up to your shoulders. It does open up into the main bedroom, so if you're relaxing in here and someone's sleeping or something or doing something else, you can close this off. The shower is a bit on the short end. I'm 6 feet tall. This is about a fist away. I also wasn't really a fan of the water pressure. It's fine, I've had worse, but just nitpicking something. Since this is the Big Sur Spa Suite, one of the big amenities is a jacuzzi tub. We spent every single night in here for at least 30 minutes. Pretty awesome. It is a bit dark out here at night, so both a pro and a con depending on what you're doing. For me though, I liked it because it's a good way to relax. Over here is a hammock. Mandy and I both had a pretty aggressive experience with it.
Yeah, go sit. Show everyone how it's done.
Pretty comfortable. We're not hammock people. In addition, as part of the room, they do give you water bottles, lots of different stations to fill them out throughout the property, and also binoculars. Mandy's pointing to something. It's gigantic, it's really angry. I don't know, the bird's looking at me. Oh, it's Mandy.
What?
If you want to go hiking, there are hiking sticks, walking sticks that you can use, one taller one and one shorter one. Also coffee. So you know how for most hotels we avoid the mini bar because they rip you off? Here it's included in the room rate. There's Diet Coke, normal Coke, and water. Alcohol is not included though, so if you do want alcohol, then you want to bring your own. Also snacks, there were more of these before. We ate like 2 of them. I think my only complaint about the room, and this is the nature of the room so it makes sense, is that I wish there was a bit more light. So I feel like that wall, I wish it wasn't a wall, I wish it was glass and just had more light coming in. For the cabin in the woods vibe, this is a pretty good option. Putting this back on, but oh no, I screwed up. If you don't have one of these in your room, then there are going to be 2 other options on the property. Let's jump to one of them and probably my favorite of the 2. One of the really cool areas is the Japanese bathhouse. Pretty much a giant jacuzzi. It's not too big. There's a shared area right here in the middle with some seating. Jacuzzi jets are normally on. Women's side is over there. Men's side is over here. If you don't want to encroach on the other gender, then they'll go into this middle area and you can stay over here. It is open, so I'm not sure what happens when it rains. I feel like for the most part, they probably keep it open. And you can come here at night and it looks pretty nice because you can see the stars. One of my favorite parts about the property is that even though occupancy is pretty high at 95%, there's enough other things to do that this is empty. If you want to turn the jacuzzi back on, towels, and good to go.
Oh, it's so convenient. You don't have an excuse not to work out now.
The gym is small, but it is sufficient. You have a few spin options, elliptical, and also a running machine. If you want to focus on your workout, there are headphones, additional towels, apples, and water. Also a ton of free weights if that's your thing, and it goes all the way up to 50. A bunch of core-centric training items as well, and kettlebells. The one thing that did freak me out a bit is that the running machine I feel like is positioned the wrong way. So if you're running and let's say you fall, there's nowhere for you to fall to and you're just against a wall, and my fear is that you get grounded up by the machine. I feel like if they turned this the other way, it'd be a lot safer because there's somewhere for your body to go if it happens. Knock on wood, ideally not the case, but better safe than sorry. Also TRX if you prefer to use your own body weight. Pool's over there, Japanese bathhouse over here, gym over here, and our room is over here. Also ice machine by the gym. Let's take a look at one of the two pools. This is the mountain pool. So it's a bit smaller and not as artistic looking, not as like photogenic, but I think it's a bit nicer because there's less people. And especially for nighttime, if you are trying to stargaze, I think this has the best view because you have these seats and you have this gigantic view without really any trees in the way. The other one is nice, but I feel like there's more branches and stuff. If you don't have a hammock in your room, there is one out in the main area. The walk from our room to the main common area is pretty fast. I'd say about 2 to 3 minutes. Halfway down if you want to go on one of the hikes, and also down to the campgrounds. So we are now at the main area, also known as the social house, and beside that is a spa and then the other pool. There are carts that go on the path as well, so be careful. Lots of cool decorations and art throughout the property. Right now it's 7:30 and most people are out for dinner or at the restaurant for dinner, so everything's clear right now. Over here is the metal pool and it's kind of an L shape. It is a bit bigger and it's the main pool. If you do want to order lunch during the day when it's open, you can order it over there. It is part of the room rate, so it's included other than alcohol. Over here is the money shot. If you don't want to go to the Japanese bathhouse, there is another jacuzzi over here, and I'd argue that this is even nicer because this is an infinity pool. The views are especially nice during sunset, as you can kind of see all the hills and valleys. Up there is a Japanese sauna. This is the sauna. I feel like you could probably fit 4 and it's not that bad, but super comfortable for 2. Spa's over here. This is the social house where there's a lot of social things to do. That includes chess, pool, fireplace to hang out, as well as a pretty big table if you want to play board games. Monopoly, sorry. On the far left is a concierge area with coffee, as well as a lot of other things that you might need if you're going hiking or doing other activities. It's coffee here, also boxed water down here. In terms of free activities, every morning from 8 a.m. until 8:45 a.m., there's meditation or yoga. Between 9 and 10:45 a.m., there's a Coast Ridge hike, and between 12 and 12:45, there's generally an educational event. For example, learning about the bees and honey in Big Sur, forager hike, wildcrafting, and harvest and share. Between 3 and 3:45, there's a redwood hike where you learn about the redwood trees. From 4 to 5, there's the Sur House Social at the restaurant where you can get a free cocktail and also a charcuterie board.
This cocktail's called the Marine Layer. It's got gin, lavender syrup, lemon juice, and it's topped with Prosecco. So if you've ever had a French 75, it's definitely going to be for you. Inside this gun right here is going to be a lavender vapor, and this is going to be like a candy bubble soap. And then when warm air touches cold water, it creates a marine layer. This is going to represent that.
That's really cool.
There you go. Of course.
There's also a bunch of paid activities as well. We ended up doing leather crafting and made a bunch of valet trays. There's also mocktail making, falconry, watercoloring, axe throwing, soap making, mixology, wine tasting, sketching, as well as foraging. For food, you have a bunch of different options. The smokehouse was closed during our visit, but we heard really good things. You can do in-room dining for all 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you can also do lunch by the pool. What I'd recommend doing though is taking all 3 meals at the restaurant, the Sur House, just because that's going to be your best bet for quality. Here is the main restaurant, and there is outdoor seating as well as indoor, but for the summer and if the weather isn't bad, I think they only do outdoor. To get to the Sur House, you can either walk, which is about 5 to 10 minutes, or you can call a golf cart. Food at Ventana was one of the highlights because it was restaurant quality. A lot of other resorts will have unlimited food, but it tastes pretty mediocre. That's not the case here. And we couldn't get a reservation at Sur House until 8:45 p.m. What we ended up doing was eating the welcome board and then ordering a light in-room dinner via room service before our actual meal. We ended up sharing a ribeye, which was pretty good flavor-wise, but was overcooked. In retrospect, we probably should have gotten one each instead of sharing. For our real dinner, we decided to walk over, and it was a pretty nice walk. For appetizers, we had the campanelli, and Mandy got the hen egg. This was Mandy's favorite appetizer. It was pretty much prosciutto, truffle, mushroom, and egg. For the main, I got the duck risotto, which was okay, but didn't really blow me away, while Mandy got the daily catch, which she liked. For sides, there are a bunch of options, but for us, we really like the potato puree and also the Brussels sprouts. Reminder that if you are a big eater, that the sides here are unlimited. For dessert, we got the cheesecake and the carrot cake, which was okay. I think there's better options though. For day 2, we had a late breakfast at the restaurant, and when we were leaving, people were actually coming in for lunch. Ended up doing one of the hikes, which finished the Sur House just in time for the social hour. I would definitely try to drink just because it's so unique. Had another pre-dinner meal, and this time it was chicken and fish. How's it?
A bit dry.
Same thing with yesterday, the items via room service tend to be overcooked, so I think it is from a different kitchen. At the restaurant, I started with the bucatini while Mandy got the hen egg again. This time I got the duck proper, which was amazing, while Mandy got the beef, which she loved. For desserts, we picked a lot better this time, the apple as well as the tiramisu. The apple isn't an actual apple, it's chocolate and cream inside. Also, side note, you can bring your pets here. This is probably one of the most dog-friendly hotels that we've ever been to. They even have a dog menu, which looks surprisingly good. The dog menu is paid, but the dogs are eating pretty well here. For day 3, we ended up skipping breakfast and I had to do some work, so we ended up ordering a burger for room service. For dinner, Mandy got the Frog Hollow Farm cherries and I got the concha jelly. Mains, I ended up doing a pork chop, which wasn't on the menu but was amazing, while Mandy got the chicken, which she loved. For desserts, we went back to the fan favorite of the apple and then ended up trying the ice cream flight. Overall, this has been a great stay and one of the best redemptions we've made. To me, this is the Maldives in the forest because I get the same happy vibes. Great service, good food, fun location, and just a way to reconnect with nature and be a kid again. It's definitely not for everyone, but a fun way to scratch that itch. Again, if you want to learn about cards, we have links on the website, AskSebby.com, and also down below in the description box. If you made it to this point in the video, then leave a tree emoji in the comments down below and I'll try to heart it and also respond. My question for you is, what are your thoughts on this property and what other properties would you want us to review in the future? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor, give this a thumbs up, consider subscribing, but otherwise hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.
It's really nice to meet you because like you are the reason why I'm here in the first place. For these points, Ventana is going to give us like the most value for points.
Yes. I was like, you're subscribed.